Do you feel I want to encourage people to hurt you and hate you?
No, I don't.
You feel
I
that
don't
way?
think that about you. No, I don't. In fact, I told you the last time we
he's
spoke.
crazy making him.
Yeah, again, I don't like to.
I know that you don't like to, but Jesus Christ,
It
seems
is
really
really
not
bad,
good. And I
yeah.
haven't watched this.
I watched your thing with Pisco last night, and you're like, I can't explain. I don't know why you're doing this, because it's you gave him the whole like, I don't believe it's money, but maybe I was misunderstanding, but I thought it was obvious to me. He's doing it because his audience is made up of people that hate you and hate these other people, and he has to keep them placated without directly acknowledging them, because directly acknowledging them would admit that something bad was going on. But not directly acknowledging it and playing like, oh, what? This is the first time I've heard about this, allows him to maintain that community without being put on the spot for it, which is why he does it. And as to why he does it, it's because just like everyone else, it's main character syndrome. You want to be a big star, a lot of clout, etc. And that was it. But I thought that was the reason. I didn't know why you felt like you didn't think that would be the reason.
I just don't. It doesn't make sense. The logistical weirdos are too small and irrelevant of a community to do that. Like that, if he was only courting like tankies or only courting big Hassan groups, I could understand that, but he doesn't. And he has like a pretty anti-Hassan position. Like that hasn't really changed.
I think that pigeonholed him right after the whole like.
Well, that's why I think it's more.
Him.
I think it's more like psychological than like a Machiavellian grift for some type of audience. I think that a lot of the annoying things. I think like there was a thing I explained on stream the other day where when a normal person. If we can imagine like evidence for a thing to be from 0 to 100, if a normal person believes the thing at 20 evidence, they might need like 30 to change their mind. If Pisco believes the thing at 20 evidence, you need like 99 to change his mind. So if he fucks up and accidentally stakes out a wrong position, he's like married to defending the dumbest thing for basically the rest of his life. And if you stick out like too many of those, that plus being like very stubborn, but also being pretty smart and being able to defend almost anything, like I think it just you. I think it mind you. And I feel like it's explaining a lot of, or at least a decent chunk of kind of what goes on.
But did you notice that like at the end when Hutch came in and Hutch was like, we've told you a bunch of times about your chat. And he's like, oh, okay. I didn't know that meant something else. I felt like he can be hyper literal there. Like you did not specifically state when you said that my chat was calling me a Zogbot, that was bad. He can want that hyper specific there, but when it comes to Hassan, it's like Hassan was obviously detained for his viewpoint discrimination and not because he tried to re-enter into the United States with no global entry because it was revoked. I know that 100% for sure. So it's like this.
Well, yeah, this is why I don't like the like autistic explanations or whatever, because I feel like it's like pretty obvious there are times when he can make good inferences and there are times when he refuses to make inferences. So I don't buy that. There are so many like you have to agree if you watch the trajectory. This feels mean, but if you watch like the trajectory of his stream and his career and everything else, he's not making even remotely optimal moves in any direction, right?
I think it might
like
just
he's not
be...
doing a great job. If he wanted to court tankies, he's doing a really bad job at that because he is really critical of Hassan. Like his big victory lap that he's trying. I don't even know if my community understands this. I barely half understand this. He wanted to take a victory lap over the Adam Mockler conversation because his claim was that my community and me claimed that Adam Mockler would do way better in a conversation against Hassan than Pisco would. I don't know if I've ever even thought about that before, let alone address that on stream, let alone, I don't even know if I would believe that. I think Pisco is much better at argumentative, obstinate conversation. Obstinate, I mean to say it, but having like a very oppositional, argumentative conversation than Adam Mockler is. But that was the victory lap that he wanted to take. So he was still harshly critical of Hassan, but he will defend Hassan on dumb shit like the TSA stuff because he stuck out like an initial stupid position, I think.
Do you think it could be that like, so he's stuck in this weird spot where he still wants to be a quote unquote somewhat liberal, right? But he also, to maintain the audience he has, he also needs to go against some stuff that you are for in order to do that. And people push him to do that as well, I would think.
Wait, what? Say that again?
So like, I'm trying to think about the best way. Like,
or just say, I read a retarded comment in chat. That's why I got sidetracked. Go ahead.
He has to balance wanting to be a liberal with also talking about content that makes you look poor or also makes your enemies look better, so to speak. And that's maybe the conundrum of where he's at, is that
like me personally?
Yeah, because he left the community.
Yeah, but I don't think
specifically.
I don't think he. I understand like there's a theory behind what you're saying, but it would be.
Well, I mean, I need another
so
explanation.
Mock
What's
it.
the other explanation? Right?
Well, I think the
'Cause
one
it's-
because the one that you're giving is really, really complex. So he's trying to cover content that is not me directly, because he doesn't really ever anti-fan about me, but he doesn't really talk about me directly at all. So he's trying to find content that's a proxy for me. So stuff like maybe Ethan's lawsuit, so that he can signal to people that don't like me, so that he can show that he doesn't like me. But at the same time, he wants to be a liberal and maybe court those people that don't like me and tankies. But he also shits on us. Like there's like so much stuff you have to bootstrap onto this to make it work. I think
that's actually, but that's actually a simplistic way of putting it. He wants to be a liberal, but how does he stand out? I'm a liberal and I hate Destiny.
But he doesn't talk about me that much, or at all. He really
Yeah, but
doesn't ever talk about me at all. Like, wouldn't it be
no.
easier for him? Imagine if he did like, we're going to cover how, like, just this one quick thing for how Destiny was so wrong and stupid on this. Like, even logistical fans and everything would flock to that stream. They would love that stream. Or the Hassan fans would love that stream.
Maybe he has some level of internal struggle over that stuff. That's possible. Like, I mean, I don't know how you. Here's a big thing. Okay.
Yeah.
He's not a retard, but explain to me how he got to something like the absolutely 100% Hassan was detained for.
I'm not prepared to
discrimination.
explain how an RBMK reactor can explode. Okay?
Yeah, like there.
I really
like,
don't. It's
it
really.
becomes-
I'm not lying to Pisco. I don't know if he thinks I'm lying, and I'm not lying to my audience. I'm not lying to you. I really don't know. It's really, really, really hard to explain because it's intellectually the positions seem shallow sometimes, at best, if not dishonest at worst. But like monetarily, I don't think he's making moves that are optimizing
I don't
for
think- I
his
don't- I don't
money.
think it's money.
And then like
I
cloud
think
and
it's clout.
community, I don't. But he's not
Yeah.
optimizing for that either. He's taking like the work.
Maybe he's
trying
bad
to
at
be
it.
like a but he's making obviously bad choices, right? Like if you were going for
I mean, he
clout,
might
like
think
who's he
it's
going for
the
clout
only
for?
ones he
Like
has.
what community do you think he's targeting?
I mean, genuinely, like, I mean, it's that whole the people that were here and are no more. I mean,
I don't know what
kind
that
of.
means. The ghosts?
Like anyone who anti-fanned off of DGG or anyone who left
I don't
DGG
think that's
or
a huge like. What are you competing for? 400 viewers with Gisticle? Like that's his ceiling. That's what he's aiming for. There's so much more clout to be anything. To be an Ethan dick suck. To be a Hassan dick suck. To be a super tanky. Just to be like a chill lib. To be an Asmongold dick suck. Like there are so many other routes that he could go if he wanted to do that.
I'm not like until you can explain to me why he fought so hard and to this day will be like I am 100% vindicated on the viewpoint discrimination for Hassan at the airport.
Because the thing
Until
I
you
said
can give me
before,
an answer for that.
when he digs into a position, he's there for almost for life.
Okay, but why did he get into that position then?
Why did he get into that position? I mean, I think when the very first time Hassan brought it up, I think there is like a sliver of. I think that there's a world where I can see somebody thinking that Hassan was discriminated against.
Sure, I could grant that that's possible.
Yeah, but then I think once he did that, okay, so like, okay.
For the record, I think the reason he
wait,
was
I
detained
don't- I know.
was just no
Okay.
global entry.
I can't. I don't even think he got detained. To be honest, I don't think so. The only reason I say that is because, in my personal experience, every single time me and Melina or any other person I've come back to the U.S. with, or me coming back to the U.S. has been detained, the longest wait is always in that room where everybody is, where they call you up one at a time. And you're not allowed to use your phone. And that wait, for me, the shortest one has been 30 minutes. It can be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. And the fact that he was in and out in the whole thing in less than 30 minutes makes it seem to me like he just answered standard questions at the, sometimes when they stamp your passport, for whatever reason, sometimes they just ask you a few questions. It sounds like they just asked him a few questions up there. That's what it seems like to me. Not that that's either here or there, but like, I think that, okay, so I don't like being in an area, okay? I am very oppositional. If I'm in an area and I feel like everybody's circle jerking, it just drives me crazy. And if I feel like everybody's going one way on a thing that clearly at least has a second side to it, even if it's not like right or wrong or whatever, but just that type of thing drives me crazy. So I think Pisco initially stuck out a position of thinking that maybe Hassan's thing here could be valid. It's a current administration that is heavily invested in censoring political speech, especially I think the Palestinian visa expulsion shit was going on where people were getting their visas revoked just for being pro-Palestine. I think that he saw an opportunity there, not an opportunity, I'm sorry. There was a legitimate position that maybe he stuck out there, but as soon as he did it, obviously you, me, my whole community, and a lot of the libs are like, no, Hassan is so wrong here. And as soon as Pisco got into his head that there was a big circle jerk in that direction, he started to stake out a harder position. And once he's hammered the stake into the ground 2 or 3 hits, that's it. He's going to need like video camera footage and 3 taped confessions in order to ever be convinced out of that position, just because he's so oppositional. So that's why I say I feel like it's a psychological manifestation rather than some Machiavellian calculation on how to optimize for whatever. Because it's like, it's not even a good position to grift on. Like, it's not like you're winning a bunch of Hassan or Tanky fans by saying, I think Hassan really was detained by the TSA. That's what it feels like to me. Just because it's so, because he's smart, he just doesn't, I mean, like, we can look at his viewership, we can look at his numbers, and then we can just think about, like, who's he trying to appeal to? Like, nothing that he's doing is optimal for that. It's just not optimal at all. After a year.
You know what? When would you say he kind of started getting a little frisky as far as, like, his community and things along those lines?
I'm trying to think of when... Oh, and then just as a very quick minor thing that you also add onto that is if you add onto that in the background, you have a group of people who are very dedicated to spamming chats, spamming Twitters and everything else, working on him and in his chat in the background. And then combined with the fact that he doesn't have that much experience maybe moderating a community, I think all of these things kind of like push in that direction. When did he start? I don't know. Was it the Hassan stuff was probably our first huge disagreement? I think the Hassan TSA stuff was the first time that we were publicly talking about each other. Before then, I don't think we mentioned each other at all.
Okay. Here, I'm sending you an image. Where the f are you?
Oh, he also has... have I ever spoken about my dad? How, like, my dad will give you the answer to any question ever. Like, no matter what, if you ask a question, he will always... Even if he has no idea what the answer is, he'll just give you an answer because he has to have an answer to everything. I feel like Pisco might be like that sometimes, too. Because when the conversation about like communism and Marxist-Leninist stuff came up in the beginning, he should have said like, I have no idea about any of this shit. I need to look into it. But he started to like answer questions and like, this is cringe. And I might have even, I'm sure I've done this in the past, but like when somebody says, what is communism? And you answer, well, communism is like a borderless, stateless, moneyless society. Like that's like the wiki answer. Nobody in real life will ever answer that like that. That's just not a thing that you ever run into, right? If you see a communist, like, oh, what's your idea of communism? Like, I want a borderless, stateless, moneyless society. Like, nobody says that. That's not a real thing. That's a Wikipedia answer. So like he had no background in any of this. And then he started to stick up positions where he didn't know. And now he's stuck trying to kind of like post hoc rationalize what his positions are and to kind of make it work. And he's smart enough to kind of sort of like argue his way through it. But yeah, I think it's a bunch of psychological stuff like that. That's a lot of stuff too. Sorry, what am I looking for? Oh, you're trying to draw some correlation here between...
Yeah, I mean, you can see for a while, I don't think he was as harsh. And then I think, like, as you can see, like, when he was kind of a stream regular, he had all this attention, he had more viewership, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's like, okay, things are only going one direction. How do I turn this around? And he found something, which is kind of turning it around, so to speak, a little bit here. At least it feels like, oh, number not go down anymore type of thing.
I don't know. It's hard also because this is just his Twitch viewership. I think his main viewership is on YouTube, although I would imagine it would follow a similar trajectory.
I don't know how to pull up someone's live viewership on YouTube.
But like this is minor for where... When I think of Pisco in terms of his intelligence and in terms of how, I don't know if I would say connected, kind of, he is, and then the topics he's talking about, and just like the upper cap on like, if I think of like Pisco at his best, like what his potential is, I don't think of him as like a 100 viewer streamer. Like I feel like this is like at his best is like 1,000 plus, depending on what kind of content he could be doing or the people he could be arguing with or the things he could be saying. I just don't feel like Pisco in his mind would be like, okay, this is good. Like my concurrent viewership is 63 now on Twitch. Like I'm making a good turn here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm also not even sure how much this upward curve is real versus how much this could be an artifact of like 3 big streaming days. Like if you really eliminated these 3 things, I wonder how much that impacts your
well, I mean, we know at least
here.
beforehand it was trending downwards. Like you can put that slider below to back, like, I guess when he was like in the DGG verse, so to speak, the slider below the graph.
Sure.
You can see like, okay, back, he knew that at certain points when he was in the good graces, he was getting, up to 400 viewers or whatever for a stream. So I don't know. Like the thing is, it does seem stupid to me as well. All of these motivations, it doesn't make sense to me. But in the same part, I think I need an explanation, though, if that's going to be the case. If it's going to be, yeah, that's stupid, this is ridiculous, he wouldn't do it for that. I need an explanation beyond he's very stubborn, because I feel like he's probably changed his views on some things that I'm forgetting.
Like
so
what?
I need a better explanation.
Oh, you say you're
on,
forgetting, and I'm not trying to push you, but I think he also has like, he's a little bit like Myron, and that he's like ruthlessly loyal to people that he views as like a friend or does content with. Because he'll defend to this day like the character even of like Rob Noor and that is it Nick Mullally, the one lawyer guy. Like all of his friend groups over there are like terrible, horrible people and debaters. But he spends a lot of time doing content with them, or at least he used to do like the lawyer podcast chats and everything else and the debates with these guys. And these people are like the worst types of like disintellectual or unintellectual retards or whatever. But like he'll defend their character and say they're friendly guys. Or he used to say at least like, yeah, I'm friends with Rob Noor, even though we fight a lot. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's okay. Let me give you like a kind of a joking answer. It doesn't really do here. It's not what you say. It's like what happens as a result in your community afterwards.
Sure.
Like there's like some of these small commentary people and they will say, oh, we love Dan. We love Dan. Dan, we love that guy. But like, they do not love me. Like that's like a meme that these guys do. But like saying that means nothing. It's about, what actions do you see as a result of it? The Hassan TSA thing, and what was the other thing that was just like so ridiculous he did? There was one more thing as well.
Well, the two biggest ones are going to be the Hassan TSA thing and the lawsuit stuff, probably.
Yeah.
Here's like another thing. If I was to imagine him as being kind of Machiavellian or angling his community in a certain way, he would leave all of the weird stuff about me, the Rose was 17 people, those people and everything. He would leave all those people there. But I think he would be way more aggressive in banning comments that are negative towards people on the podcast. Because like the hate in his community against people like Hutch and everything, all that does is hurt him. That's not helping him at all. It's hurting his podcast. It's hurting his relationships with these people. Like it's probably hurting his viewership a little bit. Like
maybe I'm about to say something that's a little mean, but could it just be that he's just not good at this and he just doesn't see the cards in front of him and he just doesn't get it? And he's just like following this one path and that's it. And we're looking way too far into this and it's just...
Well, I mean, a little bit, but I think that's kind of my argument. When I say like it's a psychological thing, what I mean is that all the resulting stuff is just emerging from psychology, from how he like behaves and how he views the world and that kind of stuff. It's like when I say like Trump, I'm pretty sure I've been pretty strict on this. Like I don't call Trump a fascist. I just say that all of Trump's political positions and beliefs are an extension of his narcissism. Like that's it. I don't think Trump is like a political ideology. He's just incredibly narcissistic. So the Trump administration is a projection of Trump's psychology. And I feel like Pisco's stuff right now, I think, is similar to that. But it's irritating because when you have people that are in vulnerable states, my kid can be a good example of that too. A 14-year-old fucking dude on the internet. It gets extra complicated when there are other people on the internet that are trying to manipulate you and push you in a certain direction, especially when part of their manipulation is telling that person that other people are trying to manipulate you. Like before we had that conversation yesterday, Gisticle was in Pisco's Discord server, like basically spamming about how, Destiny's going to come in and try to emotionally load the conversation about how you're being mean to Hutch or whatever. And it's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Half his chat shits on Hutch, who's supposed to be his friend and co-host of a podcast, while they're podcasting together. And I'm pretty sure it bothers Hutch. So like, why would you even say that beforehand? And then you could hear, like, unfortunately, and again, because Pisco doesn't bring it up he doesn't bring it up like I've dealt with like the Kelly Jean types and I've dealt with the Mr. Girl types and the lab types. Pisco just doesn't navigate the conversations like a Machiavellian manipulator abuser. I just don't hear that. Like I think his behavior is quote unquote abusive, but I think it's like naturally that way. It's not like he's trying to do that. Like how many times did you hear in that conversation? I don't know if you listened to it, where he's saying things like,
I did.
He's saying things like, oh, you're just trying to make it so that the chat is an anti-Destiny or whatever. Like somebody burned that thing into his mind. I never even went there to argue with him about like, I think it's weird that your chat all calls me pedophiles and everything else. It was generally about the Hutch stuff because I thought he treated it in an insanely bad faith manner. And Hutch is supposed to be his friend. I don't expect him to cover for me in his chat because I figure he probably doesn't like me very much. But his mind like went there and his words went there. And it's like, who's even putting these ideas in your head? Because Pisco knows me because where the am I running around telling people this is how you have to moderate your chat? You know, especially when the example that he brought up was Lav, who is somebody that I got so much shit for in my community for years, with people saying you're covering for Lav, you're covering for Lav. When I told people, guys, you're insanely misogynistic and you chill, you can criticize Lav if you want, but Jesus, chill on the misogyny. Be like, you're covering for Lav. That was the person I'm supposedly going out of my way to have my community hate or make hate threads about. But yeah, sorry.
Let me ask you this then: of all the libs, they all get a lot of hate. Agreed?
Yeah, every lib gets
maybe with the least amount being to IRI, who like won't even say like retard or a bad word. I don't think, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But everyone else does. Maybe he's afraid of getting that level of heat that the rest of them get, because I don't think he does right now. I don't think he has many haters, and it might be because he refuses to address it. And he's like, I don't want to.
I think he gets a decent amount of hate from my community now, and I think he knows that. I don't think Pisco is a person who like I said, I think it's the oppositional thing. Like, look at how much hate and fighting he went over for the Hassan TSA thing, and then I think he also did it for the Ethan. The Ethan lawsuit thing as well. Yes. Like, I like that. I think he likes that. I think we're similar there dispositionally. Like, if a lot of people want to come in and debate over a thing that I feel like everybody's wrong on, and I feel like I have a very strong position on, I think he enjoys that. I don't think he would shy away from that. People are saying in chat, so somebody's saying that he was complaining about DGG chat being too mean. So there's a thing where, I don't know how to explain this, but one of the ways that you can, I hate using these words, okay? I'm not saying that Pisco's doing this intentionally, but one of the ways that you can mind out of any kind of partner is where anytime they bring up a thing that they're unhappy with, you dig out a thing that you really didn't care about, but you put it in front of them to say, well, what about this? As a way to kind of undercut the complaint that they're making. So maybe you don't give a if your partner gives you a kiss in the morning, okay? But maybe they really care if you make them a cup of coffee when you make yourself a cup of coffee. So maybe you've gone like 2 months of always just making yourself a cup of coffee. And then finally it's like, hey, I feel like it's really selfish that when you wake up in the morning, you do all this stuff for you, and you don't ever like make me a cup of coffee too. What's up? And then all of a sudden they pull out yeah, okay, well, I noticed that you literally never tell me like you love me in the morning or give me a kiss in the morning. What the is that about? And now that person feels like shit because they didn't even know that was an issue, because it wasn't really an issue, but you've thrown that up as an issue to now prevent them from being able to complain. When Pisco was complaining about my chat or Hutch's chat, it was that kind of thing, right? Where when I think when Hutch came in at the end, and by the way, affirmed every single thing I was saying, okay? And it's not even really brag-worthy. This is like a 5-year-old could intuit these feelings, okay? Oh, Jesus. When Hutch came in and started saying those things, Pisco was all of a sudden like, well, what about the comments in your community? But he wasn't saying that because they genuinely bothered him. He was looking for some sort of like thing to throw up to show that like his behavior maybe wasn't that bad because Hutch's community does it too or something, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is. Not a lot of it makes sense. I don't think he's stupid, but I don't think he's a good streamer. So I balance those two things. Like,
well, it depends on what you mean. Why you don't think? What do you mean, like not a good streamer?
I don't think he's a good streamer. I mean, some people have it, some people don't.
I mean, okay, I would disagree with that. I feel like he can be entertaining. He can be adversarial. I think he's well read. If anything, if I had to guess, the thing that probably holds his viewership back the most is just the content that he covers. Would be my guess, and maybe the odd streaming hours.
Maybe. But aside from that, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. There needs to, like with the RBK or RBKM, there needs to be an answer, and it can't be. I'm not prepared at this time to explain how that can happen. There needs to be an explanation as to why he would nitpick so the minutia of such random bullshit. There has to be an explanation before I can even begin to understand anything else going on. Because until that happens, it's like there is no explaining any of his behavior. None of it makes sense. So
the minute,
you're right.
Or what do you mean? Or I guess what part of my explanations?
Well, what's your explanation as to why he's choosing for both of them? So he's an attorney. Mm-hmm. He should have, in my mind, if you're saying that he wants to get viewership, he wants to grow. This big lawsuit drops from Ethan Klein.
Well, I don't know if he. Well, I don't think he maximizes for viewership all the time. That was one of my arguments. I don't think he actually does it. Yeah.
So when the lawsuit dropped from Ethan Klein, or when the Hassan thing happened, is it just? Are you saying that his debate bro instincts take over across the board over everything else, and it's like I got to be on the side of Kyle Rittenhouse here, or because he's an attorney. He knows that this, like, for instance, in the case of the Ethan Klein thing, that's done. For Denham, she is cooked. Like, absolutely, there's no one that thinks otherwise. And instead of talking about that, he spends all the time talking about
well, I mean, like, that's
motivations or
probably
things
true,
along
but
those
also
lines.
he didn't really say anything to the contrary of that, right? He just saw that the complaint was written kind of childishly.
Sure.
Which
So-
it was.
so-
but
but-
I mean, it's not like he was saying. I think he's maintained the whole time, like, yeah, she's probably going to lose this case. Now, he also ended up taking some other really, in my opinion, dumb positions around, like, can you ever lie about your intentions for a lawsuit or whatever? But I don't really know if anybody was able to adequately push him on any of those things.
Yeah, I mean,
But again, there's a thing where he perceives like a big circle jerk in one direction, and so he finds the thing that he kind of disagrees with on it, and then he, buries a stake in that position. I think that's pretty consistent Pisco behavior, is what it feels like to me.
to be like a contrarian on a popular issue.
Yeah, I don't like to use the word contrarian, although this feels like he is stretching a bit on some of these things. But I think that just if he sees a lot of discourse in one direction and he thinks it's like too much, then he feels like extra motivated to take a strong stance, like demonstrating the non-brain broken position. Like, how many times have you heard him when he's talking about Hassan or Ethan or any of these people where he's like, well, I'm not one of you brain broken DGGers on it. I'm just not brain broken like you guys. I'm the only one who sees this without being super biased, because he probably perceives to some extent, and I mean, there's a very, very, very small degree of truth in it, that some people are like, or at least were maybe like brain broken on Hassan stuff a little bit. But I think that when he sees that, he's like a dog with a bone. He gets a hold of that. He just, is very much, he digs in and then doesn't ever let go once he's established a position. Because any other explanation related to clout or money doesn't make sense, I don't think. Because it's just not, unless the argument wants to be he does try to optimize for clout and money, but he's just bad at that. But
I like that one. I want to stick with that one.
But there's
I think
just so
that's what
many
it is.
easier, like, if you're bad at a thing, like, you would assume that there are other things that you would do. Like, being bad doesn't mean that you make random choices. There's like you can predict bad behavior. Does that make sense?
I mean, not always. You can't predict what Trump's going to do, right? That's why he's dangerous. Even Trump doesn't know what he's going to do tomorrow.
Well, not...
You can predict that he's going to be retarded, though.
Actually, a good one. Not insofar as that, but like if I'm trying to think. Like, if Pisco was trying to like appeal to tankies, or like, I just don't know what he like. I should be, if bad people's states of mind should be relatively easy to model, right? Trump's state of mind isn't difficult to model. The difficulty with Trump is trying to figure out how other people around him will react. That's why it's difficult to predict Trump's behavior, because you don't know what the people around him are going to say. But for Pisco, like, if he's just trying to clout or money farm, we should be able to see, like, the types of dumb things that he should do, the types of mistakes he should do, should be things like, hey, today we're going to do, like, I'm going to cover Hassan's thing on this, and then he's, like, really favorable to it, but it's, like, kind of cringy or simpy or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, he's obviously trying to clout in this direction, but he just is really bad at it. But that's
Actually,
not really
hold
what's
on.
happening. Yeah, go ahead.
You're giving me one thing I can maybe work with here. With the exception of, like, a very small portion of people, streamers are cloud-obsessed people. They do this, I would say most probably don't even do it with the first intention of the money, because they start streaming before they're popular. So by nature of becoming a streamer, it's someone that desires the clout and the attention of people watching them and talking to them. It's almost a de facto requirement to become a streamer or a YouTuber in the first place, is that you feel, rightfully or unrightfully so, that you just have something that can be offered to so many other people. So the very fact that he is continuing to do this means that he does have a desire for relevancy and clout and attention and to be seen by people. So I don't think we can write off completely that this might be something that he is concerned with, is growing his audience and becoming popular and being bigger and bigger and things along those lines. I think that we can't necessarily write it off yet.
I would agree with that for streamers, not for YouTube content creators. Like, people who make long form videos, etc. I think that a lot of them do it for like the creative process, etc. But I agree with you on the streamer aspect.
I think it's also hard to separate the streamer thing too, though, because it's like you're also like cloud is a slur, but it's also kind of part of your career, right? Like, it would be like, imagine walking into a hospital and every single time a doctor walks past, you're like, you're in it for the money. 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 It's like, well, I mean, like, they do get paid a lot of money, but like, it's kind of part of their.
But this is simplistic, right? Any person, like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Pisco should be optimizing for that, meaning he should be trying to do something that generates him enough wealth or power that he is able to feel comfortable in his life. He gave up, I assume, I don't, as far as I know, like it's nothing, he didn't leave being a lawyer for, any crazy shit that happened to him. So he gave up being an attorney, which I assume pays a lot of money, so why would you give that up unless you have a significant desire for attention?
Well, could it not also be that he felt like strongly about the political climate of the United States and had like deep concerns over things that were going on, and felt that he should have been putting his attention in more than just corporate law? Because he stated those things in the past, and I don't know if I've necessarily seen him behave in life in a way that I wouldn't trust those statements, or it's like, oh, I think he was lying about this.
Well, here's the question. If that's true, where could Pisco do more damage then, if that's the case as an attorney? Can he do it as a streamer, like dealing with snark bullshit and kind of, debating nobodies, or being, doing cheap at cost labor work to attack the Trump administration? Where is he really most effective right here today?
Probably as a streamer. Considering that when you're attacking, like when you're talking about doing litigation or whatever, you've got the ACLU, you've got FIRE, there are huge orgs of people
plenty of stuff
that have
that
like
doesn't
resources
get
and
taken
everything.
up.
Which, I mean, there might be, sure. I mean, like, his background is in corporate law. Not to say that he couldn't do other types of litigation as well, but like, there are more people that could be a lawyer than there are people that could be like a Pisco type online content creator. Like, he can fill that niche more uniquely than just being another lawyer in an army of pro bono litigants that are suing the government or whatever. Not to take away from the people that do that job.
The idea that he is dedicated to the cause, I'm only here for one purpose, and that is to save the Republic, I don't buy it.
Wait, what is Steve's? Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
So I don't buy that, because I think that he would have more impact doing stuff as an attorney and working for the ACLU than he would doing streaming, or working for the ACLU 9 to 5 and doing streaming on the weekends or whatever would be more impactful if that was truly his goal. I don't think that is his goal.
What is Steve's take on this? I just joined a little bit ago.
Did you listen to the convo last night?
Like 4 minutes of it. It seems like it ended with like Pisco agreeing like he needs to moderate his community a little bit more, but then he did moderate and banned you from his Discord for being snarky, which is king shit.
That is king shit. And it was for being sarcastic, okay. Which I didn't know was against the rules there. No, I'm just kidding. Well, no, I didn't. But I think that a lot of Pisco's issues, I think, are just like manifestations of his psychology. I don't think he's like trying to do I don't think he's like optimizing in any way for some kind of like streamer clout thing or whatever. I just think he has like, he's stubborn around some issues. He digs his heels in on certain issues. And then on the back of that, he might not know as much about how to actively manage a community. He hasn't really done it for as long. And he has a group of people, like all the logistical weirdos have got their teeth like sunk into his communities like crazy.
Yeah.
And they operate in a way that, if I describe this to, there's probably only maybe 10 or 15, well, no, if you include, maybe there's probably only like 25 or 30 people that really know the extent of this. Like the amount of coordination, the amount of all these crazy Discord servers, the amount of all the Discord accounts, the amount of all the Twitch and YouTube accounts, and then the amount of like Twitter accounts that these people make to all push the same thing in a coordinated manner. I don't think Pisco probably just doesn't believe it, or he's not aware of it. So that's all like working in the background as well. So that plus the psychology plus whatever other positions are that we're all fighting about, I think is kind of what's caused this. Because if I try to look for like a clout or money or whatever thing,
he would have just stuck around.
Yeah, I feel like I can't find a good. I can't.
Now, I do say that.
I gave my answer for why he didn't stick around. I think most people couldn't handle the heat.
Well, sure,
That's
but even for sticking around, he didn't have to be that. He could have also just started mass appealing to the lefties or the tankies, but he didn't do that either.
He could have just, as I said, just never ascribed to malice what's accurately described by stupidity. He could just be shit at it and just didn't know what to do.
Well, but he would know not to be super critical of Hassan. Like, that's a pretty easy thing not to do, but he is very critical of Hassan.
Well, no, because he was always critical of Hassan when he was here. So that sudden about face, you say that he digs into something. He's kind of stuck. What do you want him to do? 360 on Hassan now?
Justical
He
did.
can't. Or 180.
Oh, I
sorry.
think everybody can do that.
Yeah, Justical
Well,
literally.
but
if you go back like 6
hold
months,
on.
Justical
You
makes
said that
what?
Pisco is unique in that he won't do that, which is why he's stuck so strong to the airport take, even after more information came out. So maybe this is something unique to his psyche that he's
Well, yeah, but that's
unable
my
to do
explanation. That everything right now is manifesting from his psychology.
I'm-
but you're the one
but
that's
that's
making
what
the
I'm
claim
saying.
that he's trying to optimize for cloud or something else.
No, but I'm saying also that he just might be bad at it, and that also that moment in time was very unique and a lot. Saying, "Oh, you didn't take the optimal position here. You're so stupid." Well, that's a tricky thing for anyone to do. I think most people would go back and do things slightly different in that circumstance. So
You keep saying
when it
things like
comes-
slightly different or whatever else, but like he's made really obvious and really bad moves if he's trying to appeal to one group. Like I can't explain that by just him making like I guess the question is, let me recenter. Like, who do you think he's trying to appeal to? Like, who's he trying to capture audience-wise? And then I could tell you like the mistakes I would expect to see, and then the things that are hard
I'll
to
go
explain.
with my gut. So I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm not going to be able to have like an answer for why it is. I'm just going to tell you what I think, and then you can go from there. So what I think is that he has this community already. He doesn't want to push people away if he doesn't have to. He knows he has some psychos in his community, but he doesn't want those people to turn on him. So he kind of turns a blind eye and, just kind of lets that exist. And it's like, hey guys, and he understands that he's growing a little bit with that, the hater community a little bit, if you will. Like those people are kind of gathering and they're lionizing him. And he wants to grow and become, and do more TV shows and become more prominent and get more attention and grow as a political streamer. So I think that he's trying to balance it, but I think he's kind of dumb because he doesn't realize that like the hatred shit doesn't really go that much. There's not that much power there. I think he's just looking at like these guys are so good because they're clipping me and they're boosting me and they're doing all this stuff. And I think it's as simple as that. I don't think he's looking past that. I just don't like, that's my gut. My gut is that he's not some 900 IQ chess player that's making these moves ahead. He's just like, it's kind of sick that I got all these people that are simping for me big time, and I don't know, I'll figure it out later. That's it. That's my gut.
Okay, I don't feel like he has I don't feel like he's getting that much from them.
I didn't say he was. I said he feels like it is. Like he doesn't want to lose it.
But I don't even know what he would be losing, and it seems like they're causing him more problems than it's worth. Like I think that's like very obvious. Like if Hutch was complaining to him about his chat, why wouldn't Pisco do something about that? Like, is Pisco really that worried that, like, he would prioritize?
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'll give you an answer to that. Like the gut answer for that is very simple, just like the other one. If he assumes that most of his audience is made up of these crazy people, if he starts banning some of those crazy people, he might think that he's going to lose them like in a flock. So he's like, oh, you're telling me this for the first time. I didn't know that people were calling you a Zogbox. That's weird. Yeah, I don't ascribe to that at all. That's awkward. I don't like that. That's not good.
If he
But,
thought
like,
that, if he thought that
"Oh,
most of the people were that, though, why wouldn't he cover more content that he knows those people would love to hear?
because he's trying to. You said he has principles, right? You said he's not a tanky. You said that
Well,
he
but you
doesn't.
can't lean onto principle sometimes and then say, well, he's totally principleless this time. Or I don't know why he would be super principled
think
at
so.
time. Well, I mean, if we're just going to start ascribing random motivations at random parts, and then it could theoretically be anything. But I'm trying to look for. I don't feel like that explanation is consistent.
The consistency is that he wants to grow viewership for what he's doing, and he knows that if he was to take an aggressive stake towards some of these chatters, that it might cause a very negative reaction towards him, where he might stop having people clip him positively. He might have a lot of people start clipping him negatively. He would just become another Hutch, and right now he's
Does he even get that much like positive clipping and attention?
I think so.
I only see negative stuff on our Destiny, but I don't go.
I mean, on Twitter, every now and then, like that substance weirdo might clip him positively when he's like fighting with Denims or Caseytron. But I don't know if he's like waking up today and he's like wakes up and he's like, oh yes, like I got another good clip from these guys. I don't know if it's actually. I feel like I don't.
So is your argument then, Steve, like he would gain more by cutting off of these maniacs and having his chat be like a nicer place than he loses by currently continuing as like the status quo?
Yeah, I think I don't think that I think that there are so many other moves you can make if you're trying to optimize for money or clout. It's hard to explain using those two explanations or those two motivations. It's hard to explain all those actions.
All right, so what's Occam's razor on it then? What's the
I
simplest
already gave
solution?
my trimble as.
The simplest solution for you is explaining this as what?
I think that he has. Okay. I think he psychologically digs into some things. I think that there's a group of people that are like super motivated to kind of turn his community in a weird way. I think once he's dug into a position, kind of back into the digging thing, once he's dug into a position, it takes so much, almost an impossible amount to change his mind on it. Yeah, I guess I feel like most of the weird stuff can kind of be explained, I think, basically from those two things, yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, what thing could I not explain with, like, those facets of his personality.
So you're saying that he's stubborn?
That's a hugely defining thing. Well, I don't know if I would say contrarian, but stubborn, absolutely yes.
Okay.
I do think you have to be a bit of a retard to see people typing these messages in your chat and then think like, oh, well, this is a free speech bastion. I'm not going to moderate them. I saw one thing on Twitter earlier today of people were literally doxing one of the co-hosts in Pisco's chat on Live and Learn, his phone number and I believe his address, and those people did not get banned.
Yeah, although, like, so here's how I look at this, okay? I do believe Pisco when he says he might not look at his chat while he's talking to people. I think that could be the case. But if stuff like this is brought to your attention and you're not doing anything, I think that the level of callousness there would be about the same as if you saw the message and did nothing at all about it. So
I would say that
so
is
even
accepting of the message if you see it and then you don't do anything.
Well, or if it's brought to your attention, but I don't know if people were bringing it to
exactly.
his attention at that time when it was happening. I'm not sure. But like, because especially when it comes to things like doxes, there's no way that like he sees a dox in the chat and he's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave that up.
Yeah,
I think he would insta ban
that
stuff
I agree
like
that he probably didn't read it. I agree, but now I don't know if he's taken action because all I saw was a Twitter thread, etc. But I would hope that it's been brought to his attention that he bans that person out of his community permanently. And if he doesn't, then I mean,
yeah, I think he would. I think he would.
Yeah.
But the larger problem is, and I still don't. I can't. It was hard to tell if he genuinely understands this or how much is like we're getting into weird like actual abuser territory. I don't know how he can't understand that fostering a certain community like that. Because when I asked him questions, he's giving me the right answers. Like, what would you think if you walked into a community and everybody believed this thing? What would that make you think about the broadcaster, right? It's very clearly like reflects poorly on them, their views of the people they attract. So for him to be attracting all those types of people and then to be okay with that is, I don't know, that's very weird to me. But then listening to when Hutch came in and spoke at the end too, that was also really weird to me. But I don't know how much more of that is also like a manifestation of his stubbornness, where he starts throwing up like, well, I want you to ban all these people. I think I heard that. I didn't listen to every part of it, but I think when Hutch brought up, and it's so annoying too, especially with men, you should know this because men are a little bit emotionally stunted and retarded. When Hutch is saying, so the big thing that I told Pisco, I'm so glad Hutch came in because Pisco would have walked away, and Justico was feeling good about this too. Pisco was saying things like, oh, Hutch has never told me that these are bad or that he wants me to ban these people before. And I'm like, bro, if there are people that are going off like this in chat, I guarantee you, even if he doesn't say a single thing, that if you were to ban these people, moderate these people, he would feel really happy about that. And Pisco's like, no. And then finally at the end, Hutch comes in, he's like, hey, like, I literally told you that these things bother me. But then Pisco changes his argument kind of to, or rather expands it to, well, you told me that they bothered you, but you didn't tell me you wanted me to do anything about it. And it's like, what?
So wait, his first argument was like, Hutch has never told me that they bothered him.
Basically, yes. Although I think
Pisco,
he
leave like weasel room for him to say like, well, actually, you know.
I think Pisco would say Hutch didn't tell me that they bothered him so much that he wanted me to take action against him. I think that's what he was saying.
But if
That's
someone's
what he meant.
telling you that
no,
like, hey,
shit.
so and so's comments are bothering me, that's literally them being like, can you do something about it?
Yeah.
So, and we know that Pisco isn't retarded.
He shouldn't be that much, but that's basically what Hutch said. He's like, why would I even bring this up if I didn't want you to do something about it? But then Pisco immediately was like, well, here's all these, or my impression of the conversation was after that, Pisco was like, okay, well, fine. I want you to ban all these people on your YouTube then who've said bad things about me or called me bad faith or whatever. I was like, well, Jesus, that's, yeah.
Well, again, what's the shrimple razor here, right? So that one, he's saying he's never reads his chat, which is bullshit. All streamers read their chat. I don't give a fuck you if you say you
depends on
don't.
the
No,
type
no,
of-
they all do. They all do. They
There's
all
no
do.
world.
Anyone
You
do.
think? Wait. So I'm just curious. You think that Pisco read somebody in his chat doxing
He
a
may
live
have
and learn
missed that
guest?
message, but I think in general he reads his chat.
Okay, sure. I think he has an idea of what goes on in there. I think at the very least he glimpses it. Like I could agree with that. Sure.
I would say he probably glimpses his chat. Now, Pisco is a debate pervert, so it seems very much like he's probably pretty in his head when he's having these debates and is having to like run down lines of like, all right, where are we going with this? Where are we going next?
Yeah.
So I can give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not actively reading his chat.
His
Yeah,
chat
he
is
also-
not
if you
moving
look
like
at-
the speed of Destiny's
True,
chat.
but also
Like,
if you
can
look
read
at
it.
Pisco, right? If
Oh,
you
there
look
you
at
go,
if you look at Hutch when he's having, or not Hutch, if you look at Hassan having debates, Hassan looks like he's a meth head. This guy's eyes are flying all over the screen. Like this guy's got to be getting fed lines from Discord. He's checking out like at least his
ChatGPT.
chat, if not another one. Yeah, he looks like he's on drugs when he's debating his I don't know how to explain this. I don't know if this is a real phenomenon or not, but I'm pretty sure my uncle used to do drugs a lot when he was younger. You ever meet somebody who used to do a lot of drugs when they were younger and they grew up and they're just kind of like a little bit off? No,
Yeah,
maybe.
there's one person I can think of in my life. Yeah, but I was so young that I it's like a vague memory. But
Okay,
yeah.
this is what my uncle seemed like to me. Like he didn't do anything like weird, but he's just like a little bit like a little
they're a
bit
little
more
tweaking
yes, yeah, a little
always?
bit more twitchy than
Yeah.
he should be. Very
Yeah.
impatient. Yeah, I don't know why, but looking at Hassan's mannerisms, I'm not saying Hassan abuses drugs, but looking at his mannerisms, he looks like he's tweaking the out when he's having conversations with people. I don't see Pisco doing that. Like he's generally his face is in the same position. His eyes aren't looking all over the screen, so I could believe it that he's not like reading chat hardcore.
He seems locked in.
Yeah.
Like from
Yeah.
what I've seen.
I just hard disagree.
I might agree with Dan here. If Pisco's chat is moving at a snail's pace, he's going to have time where he's going to go and look at the chat and read it. So I am going to withhold judgment until I see how slowly Pisco's chat is actually moving.
Sure, and it does move fairly slow. Yeah.
Like, okay, so again, the Shrimple Razor here. So, one, he never read chat. Okay, that's the first thing. Two, he has, even when he does read chat, he doesn't get the vibe of what is going on with the chat and the way it treats his co-host. Number three, when you tell him about the bad stuff that happens in chat, he gets hyper pedantic about it, and instead of wanting to solve the issue, debates if it is an issue. Four, when the person itself comes in and says, hey, this is an issue, and I've told you multiple times, he gets even more hyper pedantic about it, saying, oh, you told me my chat was horrible and calling you a Zog, but I didn't know you wanted me to do something about it. What is the shrimplest explanation for this, right?
I think a lot of it can be explained, unfortunately.
Is that he's aware of it,
Is that
but he didn't give a
maybe, or that he was aware of it, but he didn't think it was bothering people as much as maybe he should have. But then once it's brought to his attention, for him to acknowledge that is acknowledging like a pretty big moral failing at this point, right? That's a pretty hard, because for him to acknowledge that he should have been moderating these people means that he's been up for months in a
Okay,
pretty
so-
bad and gross way.
But couldn't he have like the internal out of like, okay, well, you know what? I just needed to get more moderators.
Well,
This isn't actually a huge deal. I just need moderators added to the chat.
he might have
that is what I
actually.
think he
I
would
think
go.
that might have been a thing at the end. Did he say that to Hutch? Like, I'll get more moderators, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because we're like at the extremes here in terms of like stubbornness, and when you get to like the extremes of some traits, it feels like they could also be explained by others, right? If you have a person who's extremely stubborn, it's hard not to say like, well, is this person just being malicious? Because those two things
Or do
can
they
appear.
believe it?
Or that, yeah. Well, yeah, that malicious or vindictive, right? Yeah. Like, and it could be. I'm not going to say that that's impossible because, god damn, I just don't understand how. That's why. But I mean, I was honest when I said that to Pisco. Like, I don't understand. It's very hard to model his mind because there are just some comments where it's like, Jesus Christ, like what the. Like for him, like I don't know. I think that my conversations with Pisco, I think I'm the only person on literally the entire internet that could have a conversation with a guy who has chatters whose names are accusing me of pedophilia and not like instantly just lose my shit for the entire conversation on him, right? Like you have people in your chat that are actively accusing me of soliciting child porn. They're doing it right now during our conversation, but I'm not even saying shit about it, right? I think I'm literally probably the only person on the internet that could have that conversation. So I don't know
I would bring him up. I'd be like, oh, what? That person's name is like Mr. Mouton's a pedophile. What the f are you doing?
And they're like
Pisco?
spamming questions about like ask him about like how old blah 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 blah.
Okay,
right?
all right. So take it back to a normal person. So let's say Moot is streaming all by himself, and there's a chatter in there called like Destiny Kids. Okay, and it's going on, and you come in and you see it. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think you would assume that Mr. Mouton saw that the whole time or no?
So I would assume that so here, this is the issue, and this is what I was getting at with Pisco. I can't even fathom that hypothetical, because for that to be true, Mouton would have to be the kind of person to attract that person, and then his chat would have to be the kind of chat that would let that comment slide and nobody would say anything. And so by the time that's happening, you've already failed in so many different ways, you know? So like,
Sure.
If it happened, if that comment was there, I would assume that it's a one-off that chat or Mr. Mouton just didn't see or much or pay attention to. That'd be my assumption.
Now, what about if you're like, hey, Mr. Mouton, there's a guy in your chat called Destiny Kids, and he was like, yeah? Oh, that's not... Do you want me to do something about that? What would you then think?
If I brought it up and he didn't do anything, yeah, I'd be like, okay,
no.
yeah.
If he was like, well, do you want me to do something? If he asked you the question, do you want me to do something about that?
I would assume that he's either mega autistic or malicious.
Okay, I think you should ascribe that to Pisco. That very shrimple, like that you have to take it to that level. It just gets to that point.
Understand.
He knows it's going on, and he's allowing it to stay.
I understand what you're saying there. It's just hard for me to understand why, because I don't think he has much to gain from that behavior. I don't think he's gained much from that behavior, so I don't know.
He thinks he's doing better this way than the other way. That's the only that's the to me. Well, that's my.
You think right now, if I were to tell Pisco, listen up, okay? I'm holding your whole family hostage unless you can triple your concurrent viewership in the next 3 months. You think he would stay the course of where he's at right now? He's like, okay, well, I think I'm doing optimally
but
about
you said he's a principled guy that cares about
You can't borrow from my explanations and then bootstrap your explanations onto that.
I can. Because they work together fine.
If he had to triple his viewership, he would. I think What I would do is I would go to fucking Destiny. Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Well,
that is the dumbest fucking thing you can do. You go into Destiny.
Sure, he could either come back into my community, or he could dedicate himself as an anti-Destiny person.
Correct.
But I feel like
it's one or the other.
But he floats on the perimeter that gets him the worst of both worlds. He doesn't cover my stuff. He's not an anti-fan of mine. But he's not a hardcore lefty, and he doesn't cover any of my stuff favorably. Like, he just doesn't really talk about me.
He kind of does the most retarded thing he could.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like he's like optimizing the worst way possible. Like, he's almost like picking out all possible paths and then choosing the worst one.
He's on the one road.
Yeah.
He's on the bronze path right now.
And what would I get? And again, what explains being so stupid with this?
Stubbornness?
Stupid. Yeah, psychology.
It's not about being stubborn. There's nothing to do about like, oh, I'm really all bought into I'm 100% bought into the Ethan Klein narrative. That has nothing to do with the fact that he lets insane people stay in his chat. He knew these people were in his chat. He's known. Okay, can we just all get past this and agree?
I would say I agree that he knows that there's probably someone in his chat named Rose was 17 or whatever. You know?
He did throughout the whole conversation. Did nothing. But then again, he's not friends with Destiny, so who gives a? That's not the thing that matters. The thing that matters is the shit with Hutch and his so-called friends and co-hosts, that he lets that go. So he knows that this behavior is going on towards his co-hosts, and he does nothing. Okay, what does that tell you? That simple, that he knows this is happening. His community is directly attacking his co-hosts, and he's not doing it. So is he just a cunt? Because he knows this is going on. I refuse the explanation that like, oh, he doesn't know this is happening. Because even when you tell him that it's happening, his
then
thing
he wants
is
to have
like,
a conversation about it. Yeah,
he's like, oh shit, I didn't even see that. Let me. Like, he doesn't even try. He's like, yeah. Oh, is that a problem? Do you not allow that? I thought this is a free speech zone. Is that an issue? Like,
I agree with Dan there. Like, if he didn't know about it, he would have never fought about it. He would have never been like, well, let's have a conversation about it. He would have just been like, what the what are you talking about?
No, he knows about it for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because other people brought it to.
So what does that have to do?
Sure.
So that has nothing to do with him being stubborn. So he knows that he has a community of people that are cruel to his so-called friends. Stubbornness doesn't have anything to do with it. Why is he keeping them around? He's aware of their presence and does not remove them.
How cruel are they being? Because I think if somebody comes into chat and says like, well, Destiny was retarded on this, like, I'm not going to ban him, right?
He calls like loner box like Zogbox.
So in one sense, this is hard. Weird, the loner box one, that was crazy. Yeah. And even loner box was commenting on Twitter about it. The things towards Hutch, I think, are harder because I would say they're gross towards Hutch, but they're gross towards Hutch in a way that if people were gross towards Pisco in that way, Pisco might genuinely not care as much. And again, also because remember, like, Pisco is interacting with so many brain-broken people, communities. Like, I guarantee you that the lawyer guy, Mullally, is it Nick? Rick? Am I making this up? Chat. What the f is his first name? Do you know who I'm talking about, right? The Mullally guy?
Mullally guy? Is it the black guy who covers the...
No. He's like he was the Ryan Mullally. He's
Ryan
like
Mullally?
a lawyer guy that I've argued with before who's just brain broken as fuck. But like
is he,
him and
yeah, I
Rob
get it.
Noor, like Pisco is debating these people constantly. I'm sure their chats are actual terror zones.
Insane.
Yeah,
100%.
And I bet Pisco has never in his life messaged one of those people saying like, "Hey, bro, can you like moderate some of this out of your chat for me?"
Yeah, but they're not friends. That's. A big
I think he does
difference.
consider them. He defended Rob Noor so much. I think that was crazy to me, bro.
Well, that's an interesting point to bring up. Like he could just believe that this is the normal of people's chats are kind of just let to do whatever they want because of he's debating like the filth of the internet.
Yeah, or
like,
maybe
literally.
not the but then I agree with what you're saying there. I think it's autistic, and he kept doing this. I kept bringing this up that he would compare like the chat rooms or the demeanors of like enemies versus his friends, right? Like I would expect like Hassan's chat to be like this towards me, but if a friend's chat was like this towards me, I would feel that a lot differently. Because
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think what will be the future answer is how it's going to change from the big conversation that happened last night.
Oh, I can already answer that.
And
That
Probably-
Rosen 17 person might get banned, and that will be it.
Yeah, because the issue and the reason why I don't think much will come from it, and I don't know if there's like a character defect or what, but like Pisco kept asking. There's a thing where Pisco kept asking, like, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?" And I think he made fun of me when I said this or something, or I think somebody else made fun of me when I said this. It's not that somebody would want him to do something. It's that they would want him to want to do the thing. Like those two things are very different, right? I bring up the partner example. If your partner says like, "Hey, I wish you would remember to tell me I love you in the morning," or something. And if you were to tell them, "Okay, can you just remind me in the morning to tell you that I love you?" It's like, okay, well, it doesn't really work that way, right? Now it's the whole purpose of that is defeated. So when Pisco's asking, like, "Tell me explicitly who you want me to ban," and it's like, bruh, I wish you had the natural inclination or desire to be a bit protective about my feelings, my reputation, my standing in your community, such that you would naturally take action against these people. So I do agree they'll probably ban a couple people, but that's not really... That's not really
you
the
want
issue.
them to want to change.
Yeah,
right? It's
you
not
don't
like
want
you want
that,
to
like-
tell someone every time.
I would.
When I asked that one
pause it.
question, he got mad because he used the descriptor like he would feel bad or sad. I was like, how would you feel if a friend came onto your stream and your community started calling them like a racial slur or something else like that? And he's like, oh, I'd feel bad. I was like, that's it? You just feel bad or sad or whatever?
You
like
wouldn't ban him?
that wouldn't be
Oh,
like
well, yeah,
well,
that's
not
not
even.
good.
But I feel like because there have been times where I've had this where sometimes I've had certain guests on my community will make like an unhinged comment. It doesn't happen as much, but it used to sometimes in the past. It's like humiliating to me. I'm like I don't want you to. I don't want you to see some shit like that, and you think that that's reflective of me or my community.
Can I posit here that like the simple act of saying what do you want me to do is a shield from saying what is actually the truth here is I f***ed up. I let this crazy shit happen. The what do you want me to do is like oh, so I should do something different. What should I do in this circumstance? You're telling me this for the first time. The correct thing to say is that's. I should have done something. I caught that. But we don't get that. We get the, what do you want me to do? I'm obviously not doing what you want me to do. What do you want me to do?
Well, sure, but he can't even if he did realize it was, he can't admit that at the moment because it would be admitting so much moral fault to say that like, oh, obviously I need to do this thing, right? Because he's been up for a long time if that's the case.
Unless it's not a up.
I guess, but then why even entertain the conversation at all?
Clout.
I don't agree in the clout thing. I don't agree in the clout thing, actually.
And because he's a debate pedophile. Those two things.
That I could maybe hear. He is a debate pedophile.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more true.
The clout thing I don't agree with. I read this a long time ago, so I'm gonna bring us back to it. For steel manning Pisco on the Hutch messages, it could depend on how Hutch messaged him. If Hutch messaged him something like, LOL, this guy's retarded, and then posted a message of someone in his chat saying something bad about Hutch, that I could understand why Pisco, like, he could just type back an LOL, what an idiot, and not ban him. But if Hutch was like, hey, your community is actually saying, like, really up shit about me, and then Pisco is just like, yeah, that sucks, that's a whole different level. So I don't know, I guess that's where my mind goes. It depends on how Hutch was messaging.
I don't know if
about
Hutch has done like a lot of therapy or some shit, but Hutch strikes me for whatever reason as just being a very emotionally mature person. I feel like if he brought it up to Pisco and it bothered him, I think Hutch would just say that. I don't think Hutch would have like danced around and be like, hey, LOL, look at this, haha. the way that he came in talking to Pisco at the end made it sound like when he brought it up in the past, it's that it was like he had sincerely brought it up, and Pisco
Like we had a talk. We've already talked about this, Pisco,
multiple
like,
times. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hutch does seem incredibly emotionally mature on stream, from what
Yeah.
I've seen. It was an instance of them stopping the podcast to find insane chatters, and they joked about it being in Pisco's chat every time.
Yeah, that's happened multiple times though. You saw the that loner box clip as well, right?
I don't think so.
Wait, can somebody link? There was like a 42-second. Last 15 minutes of that combo between Hutch and Pisco was crazy, emotionally manipulative. Every time Hutch brought up something, he deflected, made excuses, etc. Never really took any responsibility. Yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah. I missed this conversation, but apparently at some point, Pisco said he was upset that Hutch decided to come in and talk about it publicly. Is that true? Hold on, playing a thing.
I'm gonna watch it.
Can you watch it? Wait. Jesus. Okay, sorry. Streaming. Thank you. Wait, who linked this?
Yeah, that wasn't what we were looking for.
Nope.
See ya, soldier. Might be that Night Kitten one.
Oh.
I think that's
I sometimes just wish there would be more specificity, you know, because when people in Pisco's chat don't like me, it's that I can't remember their name anymore. Doyle, Kathy Doyle, yeah.
Oh, that crazy Gesticle fan.
It's people in Pisco's chat when they talk about me, will just say, "Oh yeah, Lornerbox, he is pro-phalangist. He supports genocide. He supports shooting kids in the head. He supports Palestinians getting raped, and he thinks it's really funny and based." Okay. Or
Jesus.
it's like a kind of amalgamation of those things, like a Chinese whisper of any of those things. But when you guys talk about Pisco, it's like I just hear the yes or no meme of the fact that he's
Yes or
friendly
no?
with tankies.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
but I think that's
Yeah, but that's funny.
Yes or no?
Sometimes just wish
Yes.
that
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I think DGG chat's like improved, I would say 100 times from 10 years ago, where it used to be on like when people would come on and whatnot.
Yeah, although I would say a lot of that is because of the when you do certain content, you get certain viewers, and there's obviously been a massive change in the type of content
Audience.
I've done, so the viewership and the audience and the behavior will change accordingly. Yeah.
Gamers were more angry than political frogs.
Not gamers, the drama type stuff. Like the reason why I have like the Kiwi Farms thread I do, and the people that like are obsessed about me in the way that they are, is because
Was the drama arc?
Yeah, it was because when you do that style of content, you get that style of fan and anti-fan.
God, I like the political arc way more than the drama arc.
Yeah, that's because you're a boring ass loser. Got him.
I chose
Thankfully,
the best
though,
years to skip.
our what'd you say?
Someone said I chose the best years to skip.
Oh, I was gonna say. Thankfully, we have a political scene that is becoming indistinguishable from a drama scene now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it'll go back to being boring once Donald's, you know,
Yeah, will
not
it?
King Emperor anymore. I hope.
The Lonerbox situation is sad. Yeah, Lonerbox is another person who I think got from literally every single end because of his association with me, Hassan, and all of the lefties shit on him incessantly. He doesn't really ingratiate himself with any lib communities, and then because of his personal relationship with the whore demon Pixie, he ends up kind of like cutting things off with me and my community. So he kind of got like from every single community, which sucks for him because despite everything, I still think Lonerbox is probably one of the best like researcher readers, like can take in research and develop an opinion, and he's not like brain broken or super ideologically bought into anything. Like yeah. So I think that's kind of sad. But hey, what are you gonna do?
What do you want him to say?
What do you want me to say?
I live in California.
Yeah, I think he's in Southern California.
God, I want him to run for the House. That I would support.
Yeah.
My king.
What'd you guys do this morning?
Nothing. I was late, and then Dan had to take over because I had to go do IRL shit.
You were late after
Yeah.
all the shit you give Dan.
I know.
You
I slept in.
Were
I was
and
late.
oh, you didn't even make an excuse up.
No, I was wrong.
What do you?
I
wait,
didn't get my haircut yet.
Why the would you ever? Don't you have a pregnant wife?
Yeah.
Why you should? That's like an infinite well of excuses. Oh,
Oh,
she was
don't
sick
worry.
this morning.
That one gets called in a few times.
Okay.
That does get called out.
I mean, what is he gonna say? She's sick too much? Tell her to get over it?
Yeah. What do you want me to do, Dan?
Yeah.
Nothing. I just have to sit there and take it. I can't say
Exactly.
you're full of shit.
Yeah,
What am I gonna be
100%,
like,
yeah.
"Picks?" No.
It's like if I was a girl, I would have so many period call outs and everything else. Like, sorry guys, not in the PMS. Your period's not for 2 weeks. Oh, I guess it's irregular this month. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna yeah, what are you gonna say? They're lying about it? Like that's an easy W right
You're
there.
tracking me. You're the
You're
weirdo.
tracking me. Yeah, true. Has
Are you
anybody
a
ever
DDP
done? This is creepy. This might be my only.
No, I think they have. I think they do.
No. More than that would be. This is the only creepy woman comment I'm gonna make in a while. Sorry. Imagine if you were to go through how a person moderates their community and see if you could match it up with their PMS cycle.
Jesus Christ.
I've noticed that for these 4 days, it seems like you ban a lot more people than you normally do, and then see how accurate that is. That'd be pretty funny.
We can do that for your gaming arcs.
True. Was he on a 3-year period here? No, he was playing League of Legends. Holy the actual AIDS cancer toilet that is British politics. Oh my god. I shouldn't say British politics. It's this whole like
the labor Tory shit.
I didn't
Reform?
like the Nigel Farage like into like the UKIP Brexit reform shit into also man, for as annoying as it is for Russian interference in US politics, I'm surprised I didn't see the Brits spamming that meme of the guy in the gallows in that one show where he's like first time. Because holy I feel like Russia is a lot more shameless when it comes to interference in European politics than it is in American
US ones?
politics. Holy like apparently they tried to they poisoned a bunch of people in some city. I don't know. Somebody's telling me about this in chat. One of the big reform politicians got caught getting like $40,000 in bribes by a Russian person in order to spread pro-Russia talking points. Just like, yeah, they're way more blatant. There was a whole bunch of shit going down in, was it Hungary or Romania? With their elections related to like a whole bunch of like weird online shit. They're very blatant and shameless when it comes to European stuff. How do you feel about Hutch's title today? What is Hutch's title? Go check, Mouton.
I'm going to check right now.
Yeah, you do that, you little bitch.
Destiny versus Live and Learn. Vosh goes nuclear on Democrats.
Oh, I don't think that's me versus Live and Learn, but
Oh, it's his title.
what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
This Cam, true. The biggest thing I don't like
Steve's
about
about to.
Live and Learn is baldness. We've already got enough bald kings, okay?
True.
Put me in a lineup. Put a lineup of Hutch, Northern Lion, and Moon. Who the are you picking? It's never Hutch, okay? Get this loser out of here. Just kidding. I'm sorry. Section about Pisco in public with Hutch.
I said the things that I said.
Sure, okay. Wait, how long is this? I don't watch too much of this. I'm just going to sell my whole inventory to see how much I've got, and then
Sure.
on to the UK shit.
And it was getting frustrating. Like somebody messaged me to tell me that you guys were talking. And then the second time,
Get push V to slow walk with it. You make almost... Yeah, I did. But I think the issue is because I'd already aggroed him. As soon as I put down my thing, even though I was slow walking, it auto spun to me, I think was the issue. Because I aggroed it first.
was because I kept hearing you say that no one had told you that the chat stuff like had bothered them, or no one had like brought it up to you before. I don't know exactly what you said.
I mean, I
But-
didn't get the impression that you guys wanted me to take particular action, or that you guys were being bothered by chatters, except to the extent that we've had a couple incidents where it's been like,
You also missed a huge keynote part where you stepped AFK for like 7 random minutes last night. Wait, when?
I don't like how he says how you guys were bothered by random chatters. That feels really manipulative, actually.
A lot of I'm trying really hard not to bleed into too much of the psych talk, but there are a lot of times where Pisco starts to feel like a male Kelly Jean. It's pretty crazy. Like a lot of downplaying of complaints, a lot of minimizing and catastrophizing. So like like if I say like, hey, I don't like when your friends all call me a pedophile, and you're like, okay, so my friends can't say anything about you, or else you're going to try to literally kill me. I'm just like, okay, well, first of all, it's not just any random comments. They're saying really mean things about me, and two, I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just bringing up a complaint. Like, yeah, that type of like a magnifying glass on your issues and then like a telescope on their issues is very annoying.
I didn't get the impression that you guys wanted me to take particular action, or that you guys were being bothered by
Can I help you?
chatters, except to the
You
extent
guys
that
were
we've
being
had a couple
bothered by
incidents where it's been,
chatters.
like horrible, and then we've addressed them. But yeah, I guess I don't know why. Did you feel that it would be best to have this conversation in public?
Oof.
Well, I mean, you were having the conversation in public, right?
Well, I was in a conversation in public about whether or not I was good faith in interpreting, your statements, whether or not I felt that my moderation was good based on my view of what y'all were sort of feeling about the chats.
Like that distinction is crazy. Like, what do you mean? So you were already talking about it. I don't know what distinction you're trying to draw here.
And I didn't know that you wanted me to take particular action. I'm not saying that it's like totally improper to be public, but I am just wondering the thought process there.
Well, you were having a conversation publicly, and I felt like some of the things that you were saying were not quite representative of
Your feelings.
my experience. My experience.
Got it. Okay, well, listen, I'm totally willing to address the concerns. Let's chat more about them. And yeah, no, I'm not unreasonable, man. Like, I don't want you to feel horrible about how the chat is doing. I don't want to get people like or encourage or implicitly stay silent when there are people coming after you who like have a vendetta. I wouldn't ever want to do that.
All right.
Do you feel I want to encourage people to hurt you and hate you?
No, I don't.
You feel
I
that
don't
way?
think that about you. No, I don't. In fact, I told
And
you
then
the
I feel
last
like
time we
he's
spoke.
crazy making him.
Yeah, again, I don't like to.
I know that you don't like to, but Jesus Christ,
It
it seems
is
really,
really
not
bad,
good. And I
yeah.
haven't watched this.
I think the way that I rationalize in my head is honestly with you, Pisco. I just chalk it up to you being a bit idiosyncratic in this kind of way.
That's how I've always been, man. I mean, ask people back in the day from the early days of my Discord and my chat. I'm hands off. I'm very hands off. Always have been. It's not a directed or particular thing. I promise you that. But I obviously, care about how it's affecting the live and learn cinematic universe, and so I have no problem, engaging with you to talk about potential changes and how I can address going forward so that you feel heard, you feel seen, and that people feel that they know where I stand.
I feel like this was a productive conversation.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you is no, I'm joking. I'm doing therapy speak. Yeah, no. All right. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Hey, appreciate you. Hey, are you
Okay, is that it?
Okay, I mean, this conversation sounds brutal.
It was. The whole conversation was brutal. I also, not to jerk myself off or anything, okay, but I also don't like that. I feel like people. Oh man, I'm sorry. I don't. Well, you know what? Never mind. I don't care. Fuck it. No, actually, he's got literally people named Rose was 17 in his chat. Okay, so I don't feel bad. Never mind. Okay. I feel like when Pisco has identified somebody that he feels like he can bully, this is behavior that actually drives me crazy. Than almost more than anything, I hate bullying. Okay, when there's like a clear like, I don't want to say underdog. I hate when I talk about Hutch this way, but like Pisco is very good at like drilling the out of somebody. I feel like when Pisco has his hands on somebody like that, it's like a cat with some kind of like victim, and he just like drills and drills and drills and drills and drills. And I feel like when we have conversations, I feel like he doesn't have that same energy with me ever. And that drives me crazy a little bit because I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's annoying that I feel like when I talk to him, he's in 1 HP voice, but then when he's like drilling the out of somebody else, he's in like super killer mode. I kind of wish.
Seems like he's on attack mode with other people. With you, he has to be like on his toes, so he's in like defensive mode to like not.
Yeah, but that's kind of annoying because like I would rather
for
get. I
sure.
want the super aggro Pisco.
You're like, I'm here to
from
fight
before.
Pisco, not Pisco.
Whoa, this is from our good friend Gisticle, or his Discord server. What is this? Watching the stream from last night, looks like we are rewriting the Mr. Girl shit. LOL. Even if I'm friends with these people, I can never imagine DMing them like, hey, you need to moderate your community differently because they are saying bad things about me. Yeah, I'm never telling another person like you need to change your moderation style because that community is not suiting my needs when it's not my community. Who said this? I agree with that sentiment 100%, but I don't know of anyone else who's really never done that. LOL. Let me recalibrate. There are very few people I would believe if they said this. Wasn't that a big criticism of Mr. Girl, among other reasons? Oh, I see. I didn't read up. The Destiny, Pisco, Cope, and Connor's community is so funny. I'm actually dying at these people thinking Pisco has a responsibility to protect Hutch and Loner. Jesus. Destiny said that when talking to Mr. Girl. Heh. When it's my community, it's one thing, but more so, it's the individual's job to make convincing arguments and behave in a way that makes people not want to be harsh towards you. That's the big reason I disagreed so much with Max over the Reddit moderation thing. His passage about your community stopped agreeing with me because you stopped explaining my arguments to them, but it really feels like the overwhelming people who accept that responsibility eventually work their way to acting like everyone else's responsibility. I don't know what the point is. Okay, I don't care.